If you're struggling to focus deeply for a long duration and want to know how to not only focus long but also without feeling drained, then I'll give you the 4 reasons why this happens and how to solve it with the quantification method. Here's how. There are 4 main reasons why this happens, and it's those 4 stacked together that create the craziest struggle to focus deeply. I'll first explain it in a nutshell and then dive more deeper into each reason. In a nutshell, it's difficult measuring the impact of superficial tasks. Because of lack of clear feedback gathered by these measurements, we default to what is the easiest thing to do in the moment. The easiest thing to do in the moment is to do even more superficial tasks and be busy, because clearing tasks out makes us feel productive. This leads to depleting your limited willpower really fast, and thus not having enough willpower to actually work on tasks that require a lot of focus. This causes you, best case scenario, to struggle with focusing for long periods, or worst case scenario, not be able to focus to begin with. So what you need to do to solve the situation is to tackle the first problem, being able to measure the impact of superficial tasks, because that'll eliminate all the other problems like a domino effect. And we do that with the quantification method. Now I'll go more deeper for each reason. Reason number 1 is difficult measuring the impact of superficial tasks. Focused tasks are tasks that basically require your max brain power. Superficial tasks, on the other hand, are tasks that don't really require that much brain power, and are usually a lot of small things that you have to do, but don't really create that much value. The problem lies in its measurability. If you do sales calls, you get clear metrics like calls a day, conversion rate, revenue generated per call, deals closed. If a salesperson makes 50 calls and closes 10 deals versus making 50 calls and closing 2 deals, well, then the difference is really clear and immediately measurable. But now take some common superficial tasks examples, like responding to non-urgent email and messages, scheduling plans and tasks, organizing files, tweaking a photo on your website, etc, etc. Asking what the impact is on those things on our business is really difficult to measure. Unlike sales calls or content creation, superficial tasks lack clear metrics, making it hard to estimate their actual real impact. Reason number 2. In the absence of clear feedback gathered by metrics, we often default towards doing the things that are the easiest thing to do in the moment. This is because these things create the least amount of resistance. This is a problem because the easiest thing to do are exactly those superficial tasks, and trust me, there are way more superficial tasks than focused tasks. Reason number 3, because we want to feel productive, we try to finish as much tasks as possible, thinking that clearing more tasks and being busy means more productivity. But because we default to those superficial tasks, because those are the most easiest thing to do in the moment, we spend our entire time being busy by doing non-valuable tasks. This is even a bigger problem when you realize that willpower is not infinite. Your willpower isn't a fixed character trait, it's instead like a muscle that tires. Literally every single thing that you do, whether it be deciding what to eat, what you're going to wear, working on superficial or focused tasks, drain this limited resource, making it harder over the course of the day to use this willpower and to use this resource. And as you can guess, if you fill your entire day doing superficial tasks because you think that's productive because you look busy, well then you start to drain your limited willpower really fast and also by a lot. This then leads to the ultimate problem that we have. We don't have enough willpower to actually focus deeply and also for long durations. Because focusing is really hard and thus requires a lot of willpower. In order to solve this, we need to tackle the first problem, and that is being able to measure the impact of superficial tasks, because that'll solve all the other problems like a domino effect. We do this with the quantification method. In order to measure the impact of superficial tasks, you first need a clear metric for identifying it. We then score those metrics and quantify how much focus is needed per task. First, create a table of 7 columns. On the first column, write your business name or the project that you need to do. Follow this by the metrics that we'll use to assess how much focus is needed per task. The metrics are brain power demanding, strategic, requires sustained attention, creates significant new value, and is difficult to replicate. Then end it with a final score. Then write all of your tasks that you need to do for your business or for this project in the first column. Then you simply score each task from 1 to 3 and add them all up in the final score. Now you have a clear indication on how much focus is needed per task. You then order them from highest to lowest. Once you categorize your activities, bias your time towards the highest score. aka the task where you need the most focus. While superficial tasks might feel productive to complete, their return on investment is low and they should just not be the main focus. Because we have limited willpower, spend the earliest part of your day towards doing those focused tasks. It's okay if you literally only do one task a day and not complete any of your superficial tasks. Remember, we're not trying to be busy by doing a lot of tasks. We're trying to be actually productive by working on the most valuable focused tasks. You will notice that your focus will skyrocket, mainly because of two reasons. Number one is we don't drain our limited willpower, because we basically use almost all of our available willpower on those focused tasks. So you are working with your willpower and not against it. This will actually make you feel more energized instead of feeling drained while trying to focus. Reason number two is we get into flow state. Because we are spending time on actual valuable tasks, those tasks also feel really fulfilling. We get so immersed with our tasks that we sometimes spend hours on it being laser focused while we don't even notice the time. Now, what about those superficial tasks? Obviously, we eventually need to do our superficial tasks, right? You simply just begin working on your superficial tasks when you either have at least finished one focused task or can't finish the one focused task because you are too drained because your willpower is at your limit. Since superficial tasks are not that difficult to do, you can still work on it when your willpower is depleted, because you don't need a lot of willpower to do those tasks to begin with. We should prioritize our focused tasks and try to push the superficial task as far away as possible. Now I have explained to you how you can use this method as early as possible in your day. But for some people, working on focused tasks early in the day is just logistically impossible. Some people have obligations or irregular work hours where they just physically can't do that. In order to solve this, I want to present to you 3 alternative time frames where you can work on your focused tasks. You can learn more about it by clicking on this video. Thank you, join the Discord, link in bio, see ya!